Indonesia is now starting to show a significant increase after occupying the fourth positions in the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report 2020. The improvement in this ranking is up from 5th positions in 2019 and 10th positions in 2018. The CEO of Dinar Standard, as the institutions that delivered the report, stated that Indonesia has made a lot of progress in the development of the Sharia economy.
Is each country's Islamic economy ecosystem relative to its size? So just factor that point in. And most certainly, I think it's a huge accomplishment that I believe a few years ago Indonesia was 10th in our ranking and now has moved up to number 4. And certainly we wish for all our Islamic economies to strengthen their Islamic economy ecosystem. And that's what this indicator is about, is how strong is the ecosystem that supports the development of the Islamic economy.
The Global Islamic Economy Report 2020 explains that in 2019, the growth rate of Muslim spending reached 3.2% annually, with a value around $2.02 billion, while the world's Islamic finance assets also experienced high growth, reaching $2.88 trillion. Jakarta, Rahayu Pakmo for IDX Channel.
The biggest trade exhibition in Southeast Asia, Trade Expo Indonesia Virtual Exhibition 2020, was officially closed by Agus Suparmanto, Minister of Trade. As it went well, the expo recorded $671 million transaction value. In the midst of a pandemic, Trade Expo Indonesia Virtual Exhibition 2020 brought a breakthrough to bridge Indonesian exporters with business partners around the world who have limited physical space. Now it is over, it left significant remarks, whereas the expo recorded $671 million transaction value. In addition, this year's Trade Expo also received an award from the Indonesian Record Museum for the record for a virtual exhibition with most export product.
Tidak kurang dari 4.415 peserta telah mengikuti bisnis forum dan bisnis konseling yang dilaksanakan selama Trade Expo. Hal ini tentu menggembirakan bagi kita semua. Di tengah pandemik yang melanda berbagai negara, namun usaha kita tetap memiliki semangat agar dapat bertahan bahkan mencari peluang pasar global.
And round of applause for SOE Minister Erick Thohir that is capable to seize the Indonesian state-owned enterprises. Up to now, the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises has confirmed that it has downsized state-owned companies from 142 companies to be only 41 companies.
SOE Minister Erick Thohir said that in downsizing Indonesian state-owned companies, he does not work alone. But he admits that he works together in ultimately downsizing the companies.
Saya rasa saya sangat senang sekali target yang diterapkan selama 1 tahun ini tercapai. Apa? Dari 142 BUMN sekarang kan kita mengelola 41 BUMN saja. Di mana kenapa bisa dari 142 ke 41, klasternya juga dikecilkan dari 27 ke 12. Ditambah satu yang namanya dana reksa PPA untuk sebagai aset management. Nah, di dalam 41 ini dikelola oleh 2 wamen.
He added that the transformations of these state-owned companies was also part of the evaluations of the ministry itself in order to change the work structure that had been overlapping between ministers, deputy ministers, and deputies in ministries. From Jakarta, Riki Anwardi for IDX Channel.
Because of 13 pilgrims from Indonesia have tested positive for COVID-19 after performing Umrah, Saudi Arabia is now temporarily banning Indonesia from sending Umrah pilgrims.
Only for about 2 weeks, Saudi Arabia allowed pilgrims from abroad, including Indonesia. However, 13 Indonesians tested positive after undergoing PCR swab test in Saudi Arabia. For now, Saudi Arabia is temporarily banning Indonesia from sending Umrah pilgrims. Spokespersons at the Consulate General of the Republic of Indonesia in Jeddah City, Saudi Arabia, and Dang Jumali said that currently the Saudi's government are conducting evaluations regarding the implementations of health protocols for COVID-19 and also policies for implementing Umrah during COVID-19 pandemic. Since Umrah opened on November 1st, Saudi Arabia has only allowed Indonesia and Pakistan to send Umrah pilgrims. Well, for now, Indonesia has no longer gotten the privilege. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Gabungan Industri Kendaraan Bermotor Indonesia mendukung usulan relaksasi pajak sebesar 0% untuk pembelian mobil baru.
Angka-angka penjualan kendaraan bermotor sangat terpuruk.
Berdasarkan data dari pemerintah ya, saat ini sudah 9,4 juta UMKM yang go digital. Artinya tinggal selangkah lagi ya menuju target pemerintah ini.
Adikarya komitmennya kemanapun dan apapun yang akan dibangun oleh negara, kita akan siap mendukung. Kita juga saat ini punya proyek di ujung Banda Aceh dan juga punya proyek di Papua.
Pembahasan pasal demi pasal Omnibus Law RUU Cipta Kerja menimbulkan berbagai polemik.
Nolak RUU Omnibus Law, khususnya klaster ketenaga kerjaan yang kami anggap mendegradasi hak-hak pekerja Indonesia.
BPS mengumumkan terjadi deflasi di bulan September.
Tapi di sisi lain, hampir seluruh sektor produktif ini mengalami pertumbuhan yang minus, maka perbankan pasti akan mengalami kesulitan untuk menyalurkan pembiayaan.
Welcome back. President Joko Widodo welcomed the signing of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement at the 37th ASEAN Summit. The president said that it was a historical moment since Indonesia was the initiator of RCEP at the 2011 ASEAN Summit.
President Joko Widodo welcomed the signing of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement at the 37th ASEAN Summit. Jokowi said that the agreement had been through a long process for nearly a decade. All countries feel that the RCEP negotiation process is not an easy one. Therefore, the signing of the agreement is the result of a strong commitment to multilateralism, or cooperation between countries in the region. Nevertheless, Jokowi said that the signing of the cooperation agreement was a start. After that, the countries involved still have to make efforts to implement it. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed that RCEP is a free trade agreement in the region involving ASEAN countries and 5 other partner countries, where the agreement has the aim of opening market access, providing trade and investment facilities, and promoting regional economic integration. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
Yes, the long journey of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, after 9 years of deliberation, has now entered a new phase. The largest regional trade pact involving 15 countries was finally signed. And viewers, to know more about RCEP, let's take a look at the first graphic in today's infographic session. The first one is, of course, about the facts of RCEP trade. It is 30.2% of global GDP and 27.4% of global trade and 29.6% of global population. And it is 29.8% of global FDI. And for information, the RCEP idea was initiated when Indonesia assumed the leadership of ASEAN in 2011 with the aim of consolidating the 5 free trade agreements that ASEAN already has with its 6 trading partners. The RCEP concept was then agreed upon by ASEAN member countries at the end of 2011. And in the late of 2012, after selling this concept to 6 ASEAN FTA partner countries, the heads of state of government from 16 countries agreed to launch RCEP negotiations on November 2012 in Cambodia. And yes, finally, in 2020, it was signed successfully. A long journey, of course. With the presence of RCEP, what is Indonesia's position and the target of RCEP? The information is in the next graphic. This is Indonesia's position and target in RCEP. The first one is Indonesia's export to RCEP countries in the last 5 years have grown by 7.35%. Meantime, in 2019, Indonesia's total non-oil and gas exports to the RCEP countries reached 56.51% of total exports. In 2019, Indonesia's total non-oil and gas imports from the RCEP countries reached 655.79% of total imports. Meantime, for the target side, in 5 years after ratification, Indonesia's exports to RCEP countries increased by 8 to 11%, and in 5 years after ratification, investment from RCEP countries is targeted to increase by 18.22%. And in the range of 2021 to 2032, RCEP's contribution to Indonesia's GDP is targeted to reach 0.05%. And President Joko Widodo stated that the signing of the trade pact was only the beginning because member countries still had to make efforts to implement it. Meantime, Minister of Trade Agus Suparmanto emphasized that RCEP will push Indonesia further into the global supply chain by utilizing backward linkage, which is to meet the needs of raw materials or auxiliary materials that are more competitive than other RCEP countries, and forward linkage by supplying raw materials or supporting materials to other RCEP countries. The trade minister assured that this will turn RCEP into a regional powerhouse. Then how has Indonesia's trade performance with RCEP member countries so far? The data is in the next graphic. So this is the export performance, import performance, and foreign direct investment from RCEP. The first one, of course, we're going to see the Indonesia's export performance. In 2016, it was on the level of $75.94 billion US dollar. In 2017, it was on the level of $91.86 billion US dollar. In 2018, it was on the level of $100.02 billion US dollar. In 2019, on the level of 95.0 billion US dollar. Meantime, talking about the Indonesia's import performance, it was slightly above the Indonesia's export performance, as you can see from the screen. And talking about the performance of foreign direct investment from RCEP countries in 2016, it was on the level of 20.04 billion US dollar. The number keeps on increasing or pretty much fluctuative actually. And in 2019, it was corrected to the level of 18.77 billion US dollar. And RCEP is considered to open up great opportunities for Indonesia to reap benefits from the trade and investment side. And however, one thing that should not be forgotten apart from opening up market access, which will increase Indonesia's export opportunities, the presence of RCEP also makes Indonesia have to open markets to other member countries. And this certainly has the potential to deepen the trade balance deficit, which in the last 3 years, Indonesia's trade balance with RCEP countries has experienced a deficit. Apart from these, What are the more specific benefits of our CEP? Let's move on to the next graphic. This is the last graphic in today's infographic session. These are the benefits of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. The first one is full opening of access for 65% of the service sector with increased foreign share ownership limits, simplification of customs procedures, transparency and paperless trade, ease of movement of 152 essential product tariff posed between members, and clearer non-tariff barriers, increased protection of online consumers and personal information, and abolition of tariffs for 92% of goods traded between members. And the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry said that the government should prioritize three things to maximize the role of benefits of our CEP for Indonesia. The first one is facilitate access to financing for export activities by maximizing the role of the Indonesian Export Financing Agency. The second is provide facilities by building distribution centers in our CEP member countries. And the third one is strengthening assistance from the government to business actors. If these three things are carried out well, then our CEP is believed to be able to contribute 5% to Indonesia's GDP growth. And hopefully the presence of our CEP will be able to make the real positive contribution to the Indonesian economy. Stay tuned on Market Lens because we'll be right back after this break.
Kemajuan di dalam digital banking itu meningkat. Ini menunjukkan bahwa digitalisasi is here to stay.
Nama saya Devisa Novel, jabatan saat ini di IDX Channel adalah sebagai produser dan sekaligus presenter program yang dibawakan saat ini dengan nama IDX Second Session Closing, terkait juga dengan kondisi capital market Indonesia dan perkembangannya dari waktu ke waktu. Dan saya sangat senang untuk belajar dan berkecimpung di berita ekonomi, khususnya di capital market.
Seiring dengan penutupan dari Bursa Wall Street, di mana S&P kembali mencatatkan rekor tertinggi sepanjang sejarah, buat IHSG juga pada pagi hari ini dibuka di teritori positif, pemirsa.
Kedua, pasar masih melihat adanya proses recovery yang terus berjalan.
Sementara di Asia kita lihat berakhir positif juga pada perdagangan Jumat kemarin setelah rilis data ekonomi di wilayah Eropa dan Amerika yang mengalami penguatan.
Saat ini lebih mudah untuk mendapatkan informasi mengenai perkembangan ekonomi dan bisnis di Indonesia dengan aplikasi IDX Channel. Mulai dari berita, makro dan mikroekonomi, politik hingga hiburan. Anda juga dapat berbagi artikel, foto, dan video ke semua platform media sosial yang Anda miliki. Beragam informasi hari ini bisa di-download di dalam aplikasi idxchannel.com. IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business, and Capital Market Channel.
Welcome back, and we are on the last segment. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at a level of 5,530.88. Then approaching the closing time of the first session, the index was on a level of 5,553.45. Then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 5,557.52. In short, JCI went up 0.5%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, these are the key highlights from today's trading session. ANTM went up 4.2% to the level of 1,240 per share. BBRI went up 2.02% to the level of 4,440 per share. Pegas went up 7.48% to the level of 1,365 per share. Meantime, Bursa went up 3.45% to the level of 1,350 per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Telkom went down 1.24% to the level of 3,180 rupiah per share. HMSP went down 1% to the level of 1,485 per share. INKP went down 3.49% to the level of 8,975 rupiah per share, and MNCN went down 0.54% to the level of 925 rupiah per share. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,118 rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar and was closed at the level of 14,087. In summer, rupiah went down 0.19%. After injecting 2.1 trillion rupiah funds into Gojek, Telkom stated that the main reason of funds injection was to strengthen the company's consistency in building an inclusive and sustainable digital ecosystem. Telekomunikasi Indonesia or Telkom and its subsidiary Telkomsel revealed the reasons for the company's investment in Gojek. As it is known, Telkom through Telkomsel has just signed a cooperation agreement with Gojek in the form of fund participation in the on-demand platform amounting to $150 million or around 2.1 trillion rupiah. President Director of Telkomsel Satyanto Hantoro said that the collaboration between Telkomsel and Gojek originated from the same vision about both parties, namely to reinforce the position of local players as hosts in their own country. It is believed that cooperation with Gojek and its extensive ecosystem will accelerate the transformation of Telkomsel as a digital telecommunication company. In addition, collaboration with Gojek also strengthens the company's consistency in building an inclusive and sustainable digital ecosystem. Meanwhile, President Director of Telkom Indonesia, Wicky Adrian welcomed and supported the collaboration between Gojek and Telkomsel. He believes that the collaboration with Gojek will provide great added value potential for Telkomsel in developing the digital service business. From all sources, IDX Channel. Astra International stated that it has absorbed 5 trillion rupiah in capital expenditure by September 2020, or still 50% of the total capital expenditure allocation this year. Astra International stated that it has absorbed 5 trillion rupiah in capital expenditure by September 2020. The absorption is still around half of the company's capex target of 10 trillion rupiah. It means that the company only has 3 months to spend the remaining capex target of 5 trillion rupiah. Head of IR Astra International, Tira Ardianti, said that the largest capex absorption in the January up to September 2020 period was used by the heavy equipment mining and energy groups, in this case United Tractors, which amounted to 40% of the total capex. Meanwhile, for next year, the company is still unable to convey in detail the target and allocation of capital expenditures. The company is still waiting for the achievement of capex and progress of existing projects until the end of 2020 before finally deciding the 2021 capex allocation. From all sources, IDX Channel. Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy takes health protocol seriously as it is campaigned by government. Strict health protocol for workers and guests is carried out to ensure there is no spread of COVID-19 in every office activity at the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy.
Health protocol is strictly implemented in the Sabta Pesona building at the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy office. Every guest or employee who enters the building is required to wear a mask, use a hand sanitizer, and also keep a distance and check a body temperature using a camera to measure body temperature. Spokespersons of the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, Prabu Revolusi, say that this step was carried out as a form of preventing the spread of coronavirus within the office area. Not only that, every employee or guest who enters is required to show a rapid test or swab test result letter before entering the building. If they don't bring the letter, they are not allowed to come to the ministry. From Jakarta, Muhammad Olga for IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation. And here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And before saying goodbye, I would like to remind you on what Mom said. Please do comply with health protocol by using face mask, physical distancing and avoiding crowd. Also washing your hand often with soap through overflowing water. Wicky Adrian, have a nice evening. Stay safe.